that, I get sick of hearing superhero fatigue because it's just a fucking Marvel thing, and it's not super. Like
Mm.
they've just been making bad films. It's not like
Yeah.
there's
Is
been
it
great
superhero
films.
fatigue or is it Marvel fatigue?
It's just mid fatigue because it's not superhero fatigue because everybody's queuing up for Gen V. Everybody wants the next series of The Boys.
Yep.
Everybody's still loving Invincible.
Yep.
Loki was really well received, but I mean that
Facts.
has there was a bit too much MCU for people to care about that. Yeah, it's just MCU
Facts.
fatigue. It's mid fatigue. I
Yeah.
mean, they are so lucky. I mean, Deadpool 3 is going to get a Billy without question,
Yeah.
but they are so fucking lucky that because of the scriptwriters strike, they've got a year off. So
Yeah.
lucky.
That is said. Pause. I don't know if you guys discussed it, but oh my God, they've actually done this throughout everything they've done for Daredevil Reborn.
Yeah.
Fucking threw it out.
How do
Yes.
you feel about them saying, well, Kang was supposed to be a reaction to how Jonathan Majors was received at the end of
Mm.
Loki? Now, look, you don't have to keep Jonathan Majors. You just recast. You do it like they
Yeah. Yeah.
did with Rhodey in
Yep.
Iron Man 2. It's a multiversal villain. All of a sudden, he looks different. Who gives a fuck? So now they're talking about jettisoning him. There was a reasonable ending at the end of Loki. It's maybe
Yep.
something they could come back to again because time being infinite and
Yep.
omnipotent, you could always just slot that story back in with a different actor in 10 or 20 years.
Yep.
But bringing in Doctor Doom now, I hate it. I don't like it at
Yeah,
all. You're
everyone's
just
been going, yeah, oh, this is great because
fucking
he's
hate
actually
it,
in the
bro.
story and Battle World. But I'm like,
No, it's
bring him
too
in
late. Stick to what you were
if it
doing.
relates.
The only thing that's worth saying is Loki was only the villain in Avengers after appearing 2 films earlier in Thor. If we can have a reasonable, I don't want it to be Fantastic Four versus. Let's just have Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four and let's see his path. Maybe he's even just an aristocrat in
Latveria.
Latveria. Yeah. Hey, I remembered that.
I,
How dare you?
I said that for the listeners.
Let's have that Victor Von Doom. And in actual fact, we can maybe play with it a little bit. We still have a phase and a half that's on pause. But just to polish this section off, Brian. So we have Vanessa Kirby, who's
Yeah,
around the age of 30, that's going to be
she's
Sue
gorge.
Storm. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richard is fucking vomit.
I think it's bullshit. I don't believe it
You
because any
can't.
major casting for that, it's hype. I don't believe it. Nothing's
It's
confirmed. I don't
supposed
believe
to
it.
be
I mean,
done
it can work.
dusted.
I will say this. I would say it will
No,
work
it's
because
icky.
it is icky. But if
It's
you think
icky
about
because
everything that Pedro's done, he's literally the planet's father right now.
no,
He's
he's
been
brilliant.
the
He is. He's
father in
brilliant.
this, the father in that. Grogu's
But
dad.
he's not Vanessa
Everything.
Kirby's father.
Yeah, there is that.
And
It,
also, right, we've not had the Shang-Chi film. We've not had any news of an
that's why I
Eternals
don't
film.
believe it. That's
No,
why I
but
don't
this
believe
is
it.
what I'm saying. If we're saying we're getting one film every 5 years, he's going to be like 60. We don't want a 60-year-old. And that's the problem as well. Now it might look fine, but like you can't have a 60-year-old Reed Richards in Hollywood. It's your job to be hot. And Vanessa Kirby's still going to look pretty much the same in 10 years' time. I don't like it. I don't want it. I like Pedro Pascal, great actor. He seems enthused by doing genre stuff. We saw him in Wonder Woman 1984. We saw him in The Last of Us. We saw him in
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. So he embraces it. Anyway, let's round it off there.
Great being here. Great chopping it up. I always wondered before I start, what am I going to talk about? And then we start, and I'm like, can you shut me up, please? But thanks for the opportunity to give me that experience once again.
No problem, dude. And we'll see you at some point in the new year and we'll get part 2 booked in.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody. I promise I'll actually read this and the second volume on
Well, on
time.
current form, that doesn't mean very much, but I trust you.
Yeah, eat it up and get into. So, I enjoyed the second arc.
But you weren't joking about not being able to shut you up, Tim. Take it home.
No, yeah, bring it home, Tim. Jesus.
Yes, goodbye. Always a highlight I'm out with you folks. So
Yeah, I love it as well. It's been great to have Brian here. I always enjoy his presence. He has a unique contribution that all of our regular guests from the extensive NPod family. So it's always a joy to have him back on. So that only leaves me, your regular co-host, at least one of your regular co-hosts, Matt. And remember, guys, if you've listened to the whole episode, please go and take a look for us on YouTube if you're listening on a listening location, which is the End One Shots. And if you found us on YouTube, then you can find us on any of those locations as Spank Media, The End. And that only leaves me one more thing to say. We have been, and this is The End. Okay, cheers, dude.
later.
Take care.